Welcome back, guys, to Kerbal Space Program. We are currently on a mission on a flyby mission of Mun, our moon around Kerbin. So, last time we just about managed to make it into orbit, and we're going to go for this kind of flyby maneuver around the moon, and hopefully we'll be able to. Hopefully, we have enough fuel to bring our periapsis back to land down on Kerbin again. So let's speed up time here a little bit. We took some science while we were out here, and a nerve-wracking EVA flight, where our poor astronaut Neil Trey, who's already come back from the dead, barely managed to get back onto the ship. So, sorry, that might have got a bit loud. I just moved the mic closer to my face. So, we're getting closer and closer to the moon as we get further and further away from Kerbin. Hello there, Mun. Our moon, Mun. Whatever. I'm calling it the moon. I don't care. So, we are 1 hour and 49 minutes away. Let's speed up time a little bit more, and that's 1,000 times. That's probably about enough. So let's bring it down to 1 times 1. So that's 3:14. 3 hours and 14 minutes we have been on this mission. And there is the moon. And there's the sun. And there are stars. And there's the Milky Way. Or whatever this galaxy is. Who knows where we are? So pretty soon, we're going to have an encounter with the moon. I never actually explained the nav ball that much. It's a bit tricky to actually... Hang on, turn the SAS off. I've already wasted a ton of it. Oh, that's not very good. Okay, so the nav ball basically roughly says what you're facing in terms of the closest astronomical body. So right now, we're still technically in orbit around Kerbin. The blue area, it means that your spacecraft is facing away from the planet's surface, whereas the orange area means you're facing towards the planet's surface, and then the certain degrees around it are like what angle you are from it. So, like for instance, if I was facing this direction, that means I'm directly facing away from Kerbin. And if I flip it around like this, I am facing directly towards Kerbin, as you can tell. This line here, I think it's kind of like... I think it's supposed to be south. A lot of people say north, but I think it's actually south. So when you're on the launch pad, that's south, and that's kind of eastward, that's westward, and that's north. So whenever you're taking off on the launch pad, you kind of want to be... let's turn on the SAS for a sec. You kind of want to be aiming eastwards when you get above like 10,000 kilometers, 10,000 meters or 10 kilometers, whatever. You want to start turning east because the rotation of the planet is going that way. So if you take off in the opposite direction, you're actually fighting the planet in order to get into orbit around it, whereas you can just use the rotation of the planet to help you along. Lots of little sciencey things like that. But the reason I bring all that up is that as soon as we hit this encounter, our nav ball is going to change so that it's not going to be in relation to Kerbin, it's going to be in relation to the moon. So let's speed up time a little bit. I think it was 23 minutes away. And we'll see exactly what happens. Well, a lot of the maneuvers in this game, you can't actually tell what you're doing with it until you actually get in orbit around something. So, as far as I know, the game says that once I fly away from the moon, this is going to be my trajectory. That is likely to change, quite possibly. I might get lucky and it will stay the same, but I doubt it. So we're probably about to hit this encounter. There we go. So our nav ball is now in relation to the moon, and see we're now going directly towards it. And let's see what our maneuver says. It looks kind of weird. This line is basically our trajectory in relation to the moon. not necessarily how we're actually traveling through the solar system. So this is actually how we're traveling through the solar system here. So we are heading towards the moon now. If I really don't want to. Do I want to risk this? I could do this. Which how a 7-second burn. That would bring us closer to the moon, but then we would get rocketed out of the solar system. I don't think we want that. Actually, maybe if we slowed down at the same time, we could. Maybe not. I was hoping we could maybe get close to the moon. Maybe if we did it here. Oh, that's right, at the periapsis. So we'd have to use a lot of fuel to do that, which we don't have. Now, I was hoping we can get a closer flyby of the moon, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. In any case, we are here. Let's just get as close to the moon as we can get. So that's the periapsis. That's 1 hour from now. Let's just set a maneuver there so we can actually see how far it is when we're here. There we go. So 52 minutes away, and we're heading right towards the sucker. And a little faster, please. Woo! A little bit more, and a little bit less. There we go. So we're as close to the moon as we're going to get right now. So, time for some science. We've got our last mystery goo container. Let's grab that. 30 science. The goo feels right at home here, while in space high over the moon. So we're going to keep that guy. We are going to take a crew report. You look at the surface of the moon and try to find a good landing site into the craters. Must be the best option. We're going to keep this one. I mean, because we can't really do anything else with it. We can't really transmit it either, because most of our electrical charge got used up sending the last one. So that's fine. And let's do an EVA. Oh, another nice shot. Yeah, we're going to do it this time. There we go. Neil Trey Kerbin in orbit of the moon. Or close enough. It'll be a flyby. How are you doing there, Neil Trey? I think he's still remembering what happened the last time, so... not to mention his... I was going to say near death, but his death experience in the previous flight that he was on. You've recorded your observations about the situation. Well, in space high over the moon. 24 science. Keep it. There we go. Now let's head back to our ship. A little fast. Let's slow us down a bit. Yep. And bring us down a bit. Up a bit. And grab. There we go. Like a pro. Oh, it's like we've almost done it before. But we've not. Last time was a practice run. That was the real thing. Okay? Okay, so... let's continue our flyby of the moon. And say goodbye. Goodbye, moon. Maybe we'll be back for you one day, but for now, we were just popping by to make sure that you still exist. And let's check the map. We are now... Up, there we go. So, we are now back in the sphere of influence of Kerbin. Okay. So now, we've got a bunch of science on us. We need to get this stuff back to Kerbin. So... okay. So, the best... if you want to change the orbit, there are two places you really want to do that. One place is the apoapsis, and the other place is the periapsis. If you do a maneuver here at the apoapsis, like this, then it will predominantly affect the periapsis, which is the best place to do it. Conversely, if you want to change the apoapsis of an orbit, your best place to do it is at the periapsis. So, apparently, 2 seconds, really? Oh, look at our fuel, is pretty low anyway. So... oh, what's our periapsis there now? Periapsis is 234 meters, so it's a bit too high. So let's burn a bit more. I actually think this is going to take up more fuel than it's saying. But we're going to come in hot for the sake of it. 20 kilometers, that's good enough. So, that's our maneuver, which is 9 hours away. Okay. So let's wave one final goodbye to the moon and head out towards our maneuver point. And we will get this science back to Kerbin, safe and sound, hopefully. 3, 2, 1. Don't want to miss this. Don't want to miss this. Let's actually get the ship facing the right way before we do this, and get closer to the ship because you guys probably can't even see it. There we go. There's our ship. So we're almost facing directly retroactive. And turn the SAS on to stabilize it. Turn it off. Also, when you speed up time, the rotation of your ship kind of locks, which is a bit of a bug, I think, but it's better than have it spinning out of control. Come on. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Right. Yeah, I figured as much. I did a little test burn there. It's not going to be 1 second. It's going to be at least 11. But I think we have enough fuel to do that. Oh, I hope so. It doesn't really matter how when we fire this off, but just for the sake of it, we're going to go at 5 seconds. And we're going to see whether or not we actually make this. So we ever got... So, 13, 12... And now, let's burn this. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Our camera changed. Why does our camera change? Oh, we did it. Our periapsis of our orbit is now inside Kerbin. So we've done it. That's okay. Perfect. So that means that we are going to come back in for a landing. It's going to be a very hot landing, but we are going in for a landing. So I'll tell you what, I will cut away and I will join you back once we are on approach to Kerbin. And here we are on approach to Kerbin with a nice little scenic view here. We've got the moon is now on the far side of Kerbin, so we slow down quite a bit, and we've got the sun and Kerbin in the distance. Almost like planetary alignment. Anyway, let's get our map back up. And let that ball. So we're still 19 minutes out, but we are like zooming in. I put a maneuver there just to time when our approach was going to be. How long have we got until we land? What's our height now? No, map, thank you. Okay, we are coming in. Let's slow down at about 100, I'd say. Like that. Okay. So, let's just, for the sake of posturing, get ourselves pointed retroactively. So we're going to come in like this. And we're going to ditch our engine. Well, we are coming in very fast. That's 3 kilometers per second we're traveling at. The atmosphere is going to slow us down a lot, but let's actually turn a little bit. Ditch our engine. And we'll spin wildly because the SAS is way overpowered for this spacecraft. And we'll actually turn the SAS off, because this thing aligns quite well when you have the SAS off. If the SAS is on, you can re-enter at a weird angle. Something you don't really need to worry about too much is your spacecraft re-entering the atmosphere. It's not quite in the game yet. It's not going to burn up or anything like that. There's no heat shields or anything, even though this looks like it has one. But it's something where if you have like landing legs or solar panels later on, if they are extended while you're having a brush with the atmosphere, then they could just break off and fly apart. So, but yeah, Neil Trey seems quite happy that he's coming back to Kerbin, and we are now entering the atmosphere. Our speed is extreme. We're slowing down. There goes our engine, which is slowing down faster than we are. Not quite sure how that works, but okay. So we're coming in. We are... Oh, we're going to land on land. Okay. Where are we on Kerbin, actually? Well, there's that's the launch pad is right over here, so... Just a continental flight, and we're there. We're still traveling fast, but our speed has dropped significantly. It'll probably drop to about 100 or so before we can actually deploy the parachute. Don't worry, Neil Frey. This is your first re-entry, I know, but don't worry, this is how things go. I'm speaking to a dead man here, but still. Oh, okay. So we're coming in over land. Everything is looking hunky-dory as long as this parachute works, and we've already tested it before with, what was it, Kilfred Kerman, our previous pilot of our suborbital flight, and this one was far superior, well, far more successful. Not only did we achieve an orbit around Kerbin, but we managed to do a flyby of the moon. Deploy the parachute. Slow us down. And 3. Oh. Pop open. Oh, there we go. I deployed a bit early. Well, the ground must be higher. That's quite smart of the parachute. Very smart parachute. Well done. We want you deploying. Because if the ground, it looks like the ground is like 500 meters above sea level. If it deployed when we at 500 meters, we would have been screwed. So yeah, looks like we're gonna have a successful landing. We're approaching the ground a bit faster than before, like 0.1 meter per second faster, but still, not sure why that is. Oh, we're slowing down a bit more. That's all right. I wonder though, is he gonna? We might be able to get an EVA report from, because we are on the other side of the planet, and you do get there are specific biomes on Kerbin, as well as the moon and Minmus, and if you get reports from them, you can get more science from it. And touchdown. Let's have him EVA. There we go. So you're back on firm ground. Terra Karma. And what a sauntering walk that is, isn't it? I don't have a care in the world. Let's sprint. Oh yeah, you could take surface samples. Hang on, let's do an EVA report. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? Nope, it's from Kerbin's deserts. Well, let's keep that. And let's take a surface sample. Lots of sand and rocks here. You're thankful that you've been in a climate-controlled environment, because it sure looks hot out there. The sand is dry and dirt loose, and it looks like it's going to take some effort to clean your gear afterwards. Yep, let's keep that. And we're going to plant a flag. Why not? Neil J. Kerman is taking Kerbin for himself. Planet Kerbal. And boof! There's the flag. There's my flag. Neil J. Kerman. Kerman. Back from the dead. There we go. So that flag will forever be a testament to Neil Trey's ability to survive uncontrolled rocketry firing into the ocean. So let's get him back aboard the ship and we will recover this. So on you get. Recover the vessel. Let's see what science we got from this escapade. We should have a fair bit. Whoa! 112 science was gathered during this mission. So we got a crew report over Mun. Recovery of a vessel returned from a flyby of the Mun. I didn't even know that was in the game, but hey, it did it. Mystery goo observation. Mystery goo. That's the bulk of it. EVA reports. It does pretty well as well. And some stuff from Kerbin as well. So we now have 136 science. Let's go ahead and unlock some of these things. So the next step from a flyby of the moon is obviously going to be landing on the moon. So we are going to have to get the lander engines, really, landing struts, and the radial mounted parachutes, so we can land larger spacecraft on Kerbin. So that costs us 15, so we're at 121. What did that unlock? Batteries. That is really useful. The Science Junior and the comms. Science Junior is kind of like the Mystery Goo. It's a one-time use experiment, but it gets you more science, so we definitely want them. The batteries are very useful. Now the comms thing, I'm not entirely sure if statistically it's worse than the other one. The bandwidth is lower, and it uses more electrical charge. So that's 10 charge per packet, and it puts 0.8 minutes per packet size 2. Or though, hang on, where is it? 15 charge per packet, and 2 MITs. I don't know. Doesn't matter about that. What we really want is the Science Junior and the battery. But that's 45 science. 45. Well, tell you what, we'll get that. 45. And struts and stability enhancers are things that we definitely want. Larger fuel tank, we can actually do without that for now. So let's research the struts, and I'll see all this is now opening up to us. Don't have any science to get it, but we've got landing gears and smaller landing struts. A mobile processing lab, that is something not really got much plans on using. It's a relatively new item they've added into the game, but basically like the Mystery Goo stuff and the Science Juniors, you can only use them once. And the idea why they did that is that before, people were just going up, using a Mystery Goo, getting a little bit of science, transmitting it back, then using the Mystery Goo again, transmitting, Mystery Goo, transmitting, until they got all the science they needed. They changed the science a fair bit so that you can only use them once, but this allows you to clean the experiments to use again, but they lowered the amount that you get for transmitting them, so maybe get that, I don't know. But it's also got a thermometer. I don't really have much plans to use that. Thermometer though, that's good for science. That's kind of like an inline battery. So the battery we just got, they'll stick on the side of the spacecraft. This one can actually fit within it, so it will be in line with the fuel tanks and things like that. And there's solar panels and there's lights that you can get access to. This is a whole bunch more spaceplane stuff. This is like your starter package for spaceplanes properly. This is more advanced decouplers, larger fuel tanks, larger decouplers, adapters, because this is actually the wider rockets, which are quite popular amongst the Kerbal Space Program players, from what I believe. Hydraulic detachment manifold, which is just like our radio decoupler, which we used before, except it's a bit more powerful. Smaller engines and other kind of fuel systems and fuel lines. That's a good one to get. It allows you to do this thing called asparagus staging, which we'll probably do later on, and the RCS thruster. So that might be on our things to get soon, and advanced rocketry, because that will get us access to the more powerful engines. So yeah, that was a pretty successful mission. More successful than I would have thought. But I think that's about time for us today. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in our next mission. Bye now.